So let's just settle into our meditation posture. Oh, sorry. Where did you all go? You disappeared. Oh, I'm sorry. There you are. Came back again. Hi. All right. All right, let's just settle into our meditation and try and get in touch with that stillness that is always there, available for you. My apologies, wherever you are at any time. So just briefly check in where you're at this evening. Feeling happy or excited or a little bit sad. And every evening we do this, it's likely that you'll be experiencing something a little bit different, which gives us an understanding that things change all the time. So if you're having a hard time, this too will change. Is always something that's good to remind us. So check your sitting position. If you're sitting on a chair, feet flat on the floor, about a foot apart, hips width apart. Sits bones can be raised. This is particularly important if you are sitting in a cross-legged position. The shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just very gently lengthening your spine. Getting a bit longer. And just hinge your head forward. Just very gently allow it to tip forward, not too far forward. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Generally, this is for only when you're meditating for hours and hours and hours on end. Relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, and the nose, the cheeks, the mouth. And then the area at the back of the head. The scalp there, just release all that tension. And relax the ears and the inner ear and the temples and the jaw. And the back of the tongue and the ears, inner ear. Release any tension in the back of the neck. Allow your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes, and bring the mind to the breath. Just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to run off and investigate with the mind. Keep the mind coming back to the breath. And then just notice what thoughts might be arising. Maybe they're the same as they were 4 minutes ago, maybe not. Whatever you are thinking, whatever is coming up, just allow it to arise and then abide and then float on. So without engaging necessarily, and without criticizing or having opinions about what it is you're thinking. Just allow it and watch, more like a curious and interested observer, like a scientist. You can take a step back from your thoughts. And like Mingyur Rinpoche suggests, just put yourself on the bank of the river, watch the river flow. And while you're sitting on the bank, you're free from the river. It's so simple, it's so obvious. So we'll think about again all the people of our life, and just check. Has it changed at all? Did anyone change places? I think we'll do this meditation for all these folks, for all the sentient beings, and for ourselves as we move along our path. So we're doing this practice in the context of the four opponent powers. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So whatever you've done, no matter how bad you think, may not even be bad, can be purified, can be dealt with, can be, and also we deal with it and we move on. We don't have to keep beating ourselves up about it. So this purification process is psychological. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positive energy with our mind as well. So we start with the power of regret, and sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being. I think Chelsea's in the waiting room. In this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And so think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of future suffering that we ourselves are going to experience. So we know from our present suffering that we don't want any more. So logically, we want to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor. And we want to use his methods to purify ourselves. So we're not asking for some higher power to forgive us. We're relying upon these methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And in this particular form, it's a he. And you can imagine this is your guru manifesting in the mind of your guru or your teacher or your spiritual mentor, your guide, however you see them, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although all born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. So just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And he has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and shaped like lotus petals. They're beautiful and full of love and compassion. for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. And his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of maybe someone you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then maybe think of someone who has harmed you and have compassion for them, because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So you make a strong aspiration to do this purification practice for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the purification of the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. So next we purify our speech. And Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around again, forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this kind of overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that any gossip and harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on a light. The light in that room instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and resentment and jealousy, all instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatra sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuro hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatra sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuro hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time you can imagine that Vajrasattva descends light and nectar and fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So you can just imagine that it's a bit like when you do an extra clean of a jar that's maybe had garlic in it or something quite strong smelling. You just kind of do an extra clean to get that smell out. So here, just imagine all these subtle imprints of negative energy that's kind of just got left behind, being completely purified. So there's no chance for any weeds to regrow. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tida meboa stitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel you are completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now comes the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process, where we have to make a decision that we want to refrain from harming and that we don't want to harm ourselves or others with our body, our speech, and our mind. So absolutely nothing is going to change unless you make a decision. So you have to decide what you're going to work on, and that you don't want to harm, that you do want to refrain from harming. Most of us don't do big harm. It's usually our speech. But you never know how our words land on others. So think of something that maybe you have a habit to say or do that might be harmful to yourself or others, and make yourself a timeline and stick to it over the next 24 hours. Maybe it's only 5 seconds within that 24-hour period, or maybe you make a decision before you go to sleep at night. I'm not going to gossip about my neighbor. And then when you wake up in the morning, you won't have, because you will have been asleep. So just start in an easy way. And you can move on to harder projects later down the track when you're getting more experience. Okay, so let's just dedicate. Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. We'll just do a little bit on emptiness here. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can perhaps think that maybe the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's continue the dedication. Let's all the merit, all the positive energy you've created during this purification, dedicate it to all the living beings, and think, may all this virtuous karma I've created from this practice, doing this practice, ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lamsa Purify. Oi tub shul chang jin jam gon Galloway. Tenzing kyang pel away, kunza dog porze, chog sum kur away leg mon to a drub, pa dog sog dulje, kondu jab ten shog. Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. Geshe-share, a beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we go. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shayla, for hosting. Thank you for all the co-hosts and the Michael and anyone else who might be guarding the door so we don't get bombed again. Good night, everybody. Lots of love. Really nice to see you all again. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Love you.
Night, everybody.